Nicolas Cave, north of Whoville, did not.
Yo, it's Christmas. Don't you listen, or you listen. The first day of Christmas, right through the
Well, that's the opening to The Grinch. Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. This came out last year, but unfortunately I never got a chance to see it in theaters. Luckily, I got to see it in 4K here at my home with a nice 5.1 sound system. And you know what? It works very well. I have to say, from the original cartoon to the live action movie with Jim Carrey, which I'll be reviewing next year, to this one, they've really gone out of their way to give just everything to The Grinch a nice feel. I'm really impressed. This movie in particular, well, it just does it. It does it well. Now, in the previous film, they went more for a bully aspect, that he was driven out. And in this one, it's more of the loner, the guy who never got what he deserved, never got Christmas, was always alone. And they really play up that kind of stress, that kind of anxiety. And to be fair, we all have a bit of an anxiety around Christmas. I mean, who doesn't? To say you don't, it's kind of a lie. But I did find the movie to be quite fun and rather well done. First of all, he's not like the Jim Carrey version. He's not this absolute, unimaginable, terrible human being or jerk or Grinch or whatever the hell he is. He's actually, you can feel it. He's got these moments where he's like in pain. He still has a heart. You know, it may be like 3 sizes too small, but he's still got a heart. And it really affects him. And let's be fair, most of us, we can't put up with Christmas all year long anyways. And everything that's been done here just works so well. All 3 of these films, well, the 2 films anyways, live action and this animated one, they do carry their roots back to the original animated film in terms of songs and themes. And they're really well done here too. But what I think was so well is that both The Grinch and Cindy Lou Who are so different in each of these iterations. And she's always trying to find out more stuff. But in this one, instead of just trying to figure out what Christmas is about, she actually wants to help people. And the Grinch, who's really never been a part of anything, he starts to see this and feel it. And it works good. And he even has an early interaction with her, and he kind of sets the seeds for her. She's desperate for help. And then later with this, he sows the seeds that ultimately leads to the confrontation between them, as always in the story, at her house, and ultimately how things set up. And you know what? It works pretty well. I mean it too, it does. And like I said, I'm putting on my helmet, and I got my ugly Star Wars Christmas sweater. Don't ask. It was on sale, and you know what? I'm literally baking in my own juices. Wow, this thing's actually warm. Even this helmet. Wait, is it fogging up? Holy crud, my helmet is fogging up. No wonder stormtroopers can't see jack crap. File that away for later. Anywho, I can't believe I just said that. This movie actually does pretty well. They set everything up well. You actually see him going through these stresses and stuff. And it just works so bloody well. I can't even begin to describe it. I've literally sit here and watch the whole film the whole way through. I've enjoyed it in 4K and even a bit in Blu-ray so I can see some of the special features. And you just get the hint with all these characters. Like I said, both Cindy Lou Who loves Christmas, and the Grinch, who absolutely despises it. Both of them have these dual perspective on things. Now, Cindy Lou Who, she has a family, and she has that love. The Grinch doesn't. She's not alone, he is, But he can do whatever he wants. He's very creative. He's very independent. He has really no responsibilities unless he wants to. But Cindy Lou, you can tell she's lucky if she even gets to see her mother. If her brothers get to see her mother is even like, there's one point you can tell she's like a nurse or something, and she gets on a bus. She has to hunt the bus down, and she gets on the bus and she's tired, and she literally conks out like sleeping on some poor lady's hair. By the way, that was some really nice looking hair to sleep on too, by the way. Just saying. So you can tell they're these polar opposites, night and day, positive and negative of each other, and it really affects how their character's built. I loved that because it made the character so good, and there's just so much more. Plus, I cannot tell that this is Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Con! I don't know if he does anything in Star Wars, so I can't do any of that. Or, I am that dragon. That kind of stuff. The dude is great. I will say that. But I think he played, I am Sherlock Holmes. I really need to get out of this helmet. Great actor. All the voice actors worked so well, and there are just these insanities. Oh my god. I like this movie a lot. I can't even begin to imagine it, but I feel like I'm missing something. What could I be missing? I know something. I just had to make sure there was no Seth Lord. Wait, I think I know.
Max! You're mean one. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel. Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana. With the greasy black peel. You're a vile one. You got termites in your smile. You have all the bittersweetness of a seasick crocodile. Mr. Grinch, you're a foul one. Friends you don't have. I wouldn't touch you with a 39 and a half foot pole. You're a monster. Your heart's an empty hole. You got garlic. You got garlic in your soul. All them smiles, homie, I turn up frowns. All them decorations, I tear them down. You can ask Max, I don't play around. Hey, who is this mean fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow? What you so mad for? Halloween come around and we ain't knocking at your door, man.
Mr. Grinch, you're a bad banana. Don't you tell everybody what you do.
Spoil everybody. Who is this mean fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow? What you so mad for? Halloween come around and we ain't knocking at your door.
Yep, I forgot about the dang song. But it tells you a lot. Now, he really does show off his emotional stress. And I mean, we're talking he shows it off. Like a lot. I do mean a lot. I mean, it couldn't be that bad, right? I mean, he couldn't possibly have any kind of maybe eating disorders. I should probably stop talking right about now.
I specifically bought enough food to last until January. How much emotional eating have I been doing? No, I won't. I will not. I am not going to Whoville during Christmas.
Yes, the Grinch hated Christmas. The whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
So yeah, he cares about Max. Him and Max get on these adventures, and it's clear that the stress is getting to him. But what makes this so much better is that he has his Grinch moments where he's a complete jerk to everybody. But to be fair, he's going into a place right now that he would sooner rather die than be in. To be fair, I've worked retail. I kind of know how he feels. There are times you do not want to be in retail, especially on Black Friday. Let me tell you, after you've eaten a turkey, the last thing you want to do is get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because I'm not shoving breadcrumbs up a dead bird's you know what. No. I'm preparing to literally go into a Braveheart fight against a bunch of Christmas shoppers. I channeled a little Grinch that day. Oh, who am I kidding? We all channeled a little Grinch that day. Just too much Grinch. But you know what? Kept us going. That and our boss was also somehow found a horse and was, "You'll never take our presents!" I still don't know how he did that. You know, I really wish I had recorded that. That would have been freaking funny. Especially when the freaking customers, some of them came in like freaking 300. I mean, the last thing you want was, "Spartans, get your TVs!" I think they literally said that too. The film just builds from there. You have Cindy Lou and her crew trying to capture Santa for her request to help her mom out. She doesn't want presents. This is a shock to him because everything he sees is just greed, 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 greed. That's one of those themes. But it's so cool. But what also happens is that his personality and his desire to hate Christmas is challenged at every point. And the best point that happens is with this new character, Fred the reindeer. No, I'm not making that up. They really named a reindeer Fred. I thought that character was cool. They were able to do so much with the animation here. And you see him also being very loving to Max, too. There's no hatred there. There's none of that. It's like, oh, I live with this dog. No, he's very kind and actually warm to Max. And it's kind of cool, and I love it. But the Fred character that comes in is actually very interesting in more than one way, and I don't want to spoil a certain point with him. But it's cool. And, you know, the famous him getting ready for his montage was freaking cool. But I have to show Fred before I stop the review. You have to see this reindeer.
Well, Santa had 8. He looks like he ate the other 7. Watch and learn, Max. All right.
So yeah, Fred is just funny and incredibly cute. And you'll see how much cuter he gets later on, as well as some other things. But again, the whole story revolves around both the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who. Now, one of the people said in an interview we get to see his past for the first time, but don't forget, in the Jim Carrey movie we also got to see what happened to him, but in this one, I think it's much sadder. It's much more concerning. And, you know, I know a lot of people who have felt this way at Christmas, so it makes sense. But again, you just have to experience it. And he really sells the movie. And what happens to him in this one sequence, you can't help but feel for him. It's really sad when you think about it. But it's also what sells this movie so well and makes it so different from the original animation and the Jim Carrey movie. I probably will want to watch this again next year. And that's saying a lot. I mean, it's just got a whole lot of really cool stuff. I mean, it works so well. But I think this particular scene really sells the Grinch. And it sells why he is the way he is and Christmas. And it's much better, in my opinion, than what we got in the Jim Carrey movie. But don't get me wrong, that worked too, because we still got a real jerk of a character, which is what he was supposed to still be. But in this movie, you see somebody who has to go through a lot. I mean, a lot.
Oh, no, no! Oh, oh,
He walked through the crowd and the sound and the lights, and his ears heard the thump of their joy and delights. And it took him right back to his earliest years, to that lost, lonely boy who cried all of those tears. That lost, lonely boy, isolated and sad, with no home of his own, no mom and no dad. And as the Grinch looked around, he felt downright scared as he remembered that Christmas where nobody cared, where nobody showed, not even a flea. And there were no cards, no gifts, and no tree. And as he watched other kids, one thing became clear: that this was the single worst day of the year.
So you can see the stress he's going under, his literal concerns for himself and others. He literally is suffering a panic attack remembering all of these things. It makes his character so much more intriguing this time around. Whereas the last one, he was always angry. In this one, you can see the pain, this little child, and then the effect it has on this grown-up. Still, those aren't easy wounds to heal, not one little bit. And the narrator does such a good job. Now, my only critique to the narrator is that when you have Boris Karloff and then Anthony Hopkins, you were kind of expecting a different narrator. And, well, the guy still did very good. But again, I was kind of expecting someone a little darker. Still, we got dang good out of this one. So my final score for the movie, and a recommendation, and plus I don't want to say any more because I do actually want you to see the movie, is an 8 out of 10 with a must-see for the Christmas season. Oh, and I did try to put a Christmas hat on the helmet. This bucket head's too big. Go figure. So guys, I highly recommend this Christmas movie. Like and subscribe, hit the bell, all that fun stuff. You know, do stuff like right here, you know, wherever my videos recommendations are going to be. And I'll see you for the next day of the 12 Nights of Christmas. And remember, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.